Overseas now, and for the 12th night, there is again unrest in France. New violence in spite of curfews and an enormous influx of police. Our Stuart Greer is in a suburb of Paris tonight, one of the flashpoints that touched off this crisis. Stuart.
Well, Kevin, there are fresh reports of violence tonight, word of running battles between police and rioters in the southern town of Toulouse. Apparently that started when a bus there was set on fire. And as you mentioned, that violence has its roots here in this immigrant neighborhood just outside Paris. Bobigny was one of the scenes, or the heart of one of the scenes, of the running battles between police and rioters. And as the last 24 hours clearly show, this is anything but a localized problem. Well into its second week, the illumination in the City of Light is again cast by the ominous glow of cars set ablaze by Arab and African rioters. And in a clear indication of how immigrant unrest is spreading, more than half of the 1,400 vehicles burned were torched in some 300 towns and cities outside the capital. And the violence is escalating. A 61-year-old man has become the first fatality, dying from injuries suffered when he was beaten by a mob as he tried to put out a fire. The French Prime Minister giving the go-ahead for local governments to impose curfews as necessary, after rioters with shotguns opened fire on police, injuring 10. One officer was shot in the neck. Police responding with a show of force, bolstering a deployment of almost 10,000 police and soldiers with another 2,300 new security forces, still not enough to allay the worries of one police chief. They really shot at the officers, he says. This is real, serious violence. Not like the previous nights. I'm really concerned. As urban unrest spreads to neighboring Belgium and Germany, the French government is facing growing criticism for failing to stop the violence. After an emergency cabinet meeting, President Jacques Chirac sounded tough, saying the absolute priority is re-establishing security and public safety. Privately, however, Chirac took a reportedly more conciliatory tone, admitting much of the violence stemmed from the government's failure to integrate the children of Arab and African immigrants into French society. And Kevin, that's really what's at the crux of all of this. The unemployment rate in some immigrant communities is as high as 40%. That's 4 times the national average. And that has led to a deep-seated resentment of French society. And unlike Canada's cultural mosaic or melting pot, the prevailing attitude towards immigrants in France is one of building and maintaining barriers. But for now, it seems there's recognition, amongst the government at least, that those old attitudes aren't working. Kevin.
All right, Stuart Greer, the latest from Paris tonight. Thanks, Stuart. And Foreign Affairs.